All right, everyone. So you guys probably already know by now, there is a lot of stuff going on right now in Raid Shadow Legends. We had the Halloween Fusion released today. We have a whole bunch of different Halloween events coming up, but I had to pretty much stop everything that I was doing in order to tell you guys this, because it is a really big deal, especially to those of you guys that are indeed going for that Halloween Fusion, and that is to be very, very careful of this current Champion Chase tournament. Now, this is something that I almost fell for. I just automatically thought that this champion right here, that is a reward for getting 2,000 points in this champion chase, I thought that that was a champion that you actually need for the Halloween Fusion. I mean, it makes sense. I just assumed so because it really was the only thing that made any kind of sense. All these events are starting at the same time. We have a new Halloween Fusion. You know, it just didn't even really seem for me to be something to think about. But I actually have been looking up. I went back and I got a billion comments, maybe not quite a billion, but still I got several comments and messages telling me, hey, go back and check again and take a look, because you actually do not need that champion from the Champion Chase tournament in order to do the Harvest Jack Fusion. So if you go back and you take a look and you see there are 3 Void champions that you end up needing for this fusion, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you go back to this tournament, you will see that the Void champion that you end up getting from the tournament is not actually one of the champions that you need for the fusion. Now, I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, it really seems pretty shady to me to begin with. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of players who are going to pretty much think what I did, is that if there's a billion events that are all launching at the same time as a Halloween Fusion, if there's champions in the actual events as rewards, well, obviously they're going to be used for the fusion, right? Well, that is definitely not the case, and it took me many messages from many people to realize this. So if this is a mistake that I can really easily make, it's definitely a mistake that I feel like there's a lot of you guys that could probably make it as well. So this video, the purpose of it is to inform you guys to be careful of this Champion Chase tournament, especially to those of you guys that are indeed trying to save up the materials and resources to eventually be able to do this limited time fusion for Halloween Jack. So those of you guys who are limited on resources, those of you guys who are either free to play, you don't spend a lot of money, you don't have access to a lot of shards, you know, it's really difficult in order to actually end up getting a bunch of points for these Champion Chase tournaments. Even for me, and I'm somebody who I do spend some money on the game, not a whole lot in comparison to other people, but I do still spend money on the game. You know, these Champion Chase tournaments, they're not easy to do. You need 3,000 points, and if you actually break down the amount of points that you actually get from these Champion Chase tournaments, you're looking at only 10 points for a rare, 250 for an epic, and you guys know the drop rates for epics are not super high, especially without a double rates event going on. And then 500 for a legendary. Once again, really low drop rates. It's very difficult in order to actually end up getting points for these tournaments. Now, yes, you can end up getting your points through all the different other sources, but pretty much every other source of getting points, except for maybe a few things here and there, you're looking at just 1 point from each of those champions. So, I mean, the best way to end up getting points is going to end up being from Void champions, and once again, Void champions are also pretty rare. So pretty much what I'm trying to say here is it's really difficult to get a bunch of points for these Champion Chase tournaments, and to kind of shoot for a champion that you are not going to end up needing for a fusion, well, it's going to make the next Champion Chase event that we have, which you will need for the fusion, really, really difficult. So once again, this is kind of a tactic that Plarium is using in order to drain people of their resources before they release something in the game where you're going to want it even more. And now, because you have drained your resources, you're going to either have to miss out on it completely, or you're going to have to spend money in order to achieve the next goal that you have. So I'm guessing that, of course, when the next Champion Chase tournament comes out, a lot of players are going to have fallen for this. They're going to have used all their resources on this Champion Chase trying to summon for a champion that you don't even need for the fusion, and then they'll kind of be stuck on a very, very crucial part of the fusion. So if you take a look and you see there are a whole bunch of different champions that you need. There's 4 epics that fuse into Harvest Jack, of course. 3 of the epics, though, you end up fusing from rares, but then you have Sue Firstborn, which you actually do not have rares. You actually have to get her by herself. And if you go and you take a look at the actual event details, you'll see here that it gives you all the information. I briefly talked about this in the video earlier today, kind of just highlighting what the event is, going over it at a first glance. But you'll see Sue Firstborn available from Champion Chase Tournament October 31st through November 2nd, and Champion Training Event October 28th through November 6th. So what's even worse is this events that we have going on right now, this champion training is going to, let's see right now, the current date, it is the 25th, and it's going to end up lasting for 3 days, right? So this event right here, 3 days to get 3,000 points, champion that isn't even required for the actual fusion. And then just a couple of days later, there is going to be yet another one of these champion chase tournaments right here. Champion Chase Tournament from October 31st through November 2nd. Again, another 3-day Champion Chase Tournament. And this one is going to be crucial because you are going to need to participate in either this Champion Chase Tournament or this Champion Training event in order to end up getting this champion. Now, there is also a Champion Training event that is going to start at the same time, October 28th, and this one is going to last for, it looks like 9 or 10 days, but this right here is assigned to me. If you guys remember a lot of the champion training events that we have had recently that last a very, very long period of time, these ones are going to be the major grind ones. We're talking about 15, 20, or even 30,000 points. And I know for a lot of people, that's not really going to be very reasonable. You're going to have saved your resources for a very, very long time in order to really participate and get the maximum number of benefits from those extremely grindy champion training events. So for most people, I'm guessing if they do want to end up getting Harvest Jack, the most reasonable thing is they are going to want to participate in the second Champion Chase Tournament, which it's 3 days, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty similar format to the one that we have running on. The only key difference, and this is of course the key difference, is that you are actually going to get a champion from the Champion Chase Tournament that you are going to need for the fusion. I don't know what to really think about all of this. I mean, it really did catch me off guard. And like I said, I am working on a bunch of other videos kind of talking about this event. I was going to end up talking about Halloween Jack in more detail, talk about his skills, kind of go over, you know, for a free-to-play or for a cheap-to-play player, if this whole fusion event, given kind of everything combined, how much effort it's actually going to end up being, if it's really going to be worth participating in all this. But once I actually ended up seeing this and I kind of saw how this was all panning out, I immediately thought to myself, wow, this was a mistake that I almost made. I was just about to start buying a whole bunch of stuff, doing some summons. I wasn't going to go crazy too soon. I always tend to wait. This is just a little strategy. You guys are welcome to use this or not. But when it comes to any kind of events that use resources like summoning, I usually try to end up waiting until the last day anyway, just in case Polarium does another kind of scummy thing that they tend to do, which is to release events later on that kind of would have benefited you if you waited. So, you know, like a double rates or some sort of summoning boost. They don't do this all the time, but they definitely have done it before. This is why I personally, when it doesn't really matter if you end up finishing these things really soon or if you wait until the end either way. I mean, you're just going to also make it more difficult for you to compete on the tournament boards. So I was getting ready to at least buy some shards from the market, maybe do some market refreshes. I was going to actually record a bunch of market refreshes just for a video for fun. But I went back and I looked and I saw that my inbox was just flooded with messages saying, hey, be careful about this champion this champion chase tournament, because this guy right here, you are not going to need him for the fusion. So this guy right here is a Void Dwarf, and honestly, he's not a bad champion. If you take a look at him, I think I've already gotten him actually, but I might have used him for another, maybe he was used for another fusion. I mean, she's showing up in my index right here, but he's not a bad champion at all. But for 2,000 points in a champion chase tournament, for a rare champion to begin with that is not going to be used for a fusion, it's still probably not going to be worth it. Unless you guys somehow are a whale and you don't have this guy, which it's pretty difficult for whales to not even have rares to begin with. Unless you guys are a whale and you can easily get all the points for all the champion chase tournaments without having to worry about it, I would absolutely 100% save your resources for the second one coming up right here. for Sue Firstborn, because that is going to be an epic that you absolutely need for the fusion. And if you guys don't feel like doing a possible 30,000 point champion training event, that's where you're going to want to use your resources. So I wanted to talk about this for a little bit. I know I had to drop everything to kind of get this out there, but it is important. So be careful, guys. Don't summon on this if you are trying to go for that Halloween Jack. Not Halloween Jack, I think it's Harvest Jack. There you go. If you're trying to go for that Harvest Jack, and you are limited on resources. So that's going to be it for the video for now. More videos will be coming out soon, but like I said, I did drop pretty much everything I was doing to get this out there because I felt it was very, very important. So thank you guys, everyone, for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this and that you learned a little bit from it. And if you guys did enjoy this video and you want more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again, everyone, for all the support and passing 18,000 subscribers recently. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, it helped out, and you have a quick second, if you want to take maybe a quarter of a second to quickly click the like button, it does help out a lot. So thank you to those of you guys who do that. With that all being said, that's going to be it for now. More videos coming up real soon. I am working on them. And until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.